Yeah, hello everybody, and welcome to week three of this lifelong learning. It's nice to have everybody here. I want to thank all of you that have been consistently joining from week one to week three. I hope we're learning and I hope we are getting a lot of excitement in the course of this training. Um, I want to. So if you're online and you're with me, just post a comment so I can see that you are online with me. I want to know those that are online with me so that we can just start it up. Okay, hello Jane. I can see Jane is online with me because she's posted a comment. Yeah. So I hope we are getting more intrigued by day. We have wonderful facilitator all over around the world that are going to be joining us and doing a lot of facilitation. Um, and I hope we are also keeping to our assignments from these facilitators. Some of us will be joining in live today for the ML, the Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence class. We'll also be joining in live. That meaning I'll be bringing some of us on the studio. We'll be seeing ourselves live to join in the Python, the AI and ML class, so that we'll have a one-on-one interaction with the facilitator. So it's so important that we are online today, as those that are online will be showing their handwork today, what they have done in the Python and the Python and the artificial intelligence class. Yeah, I know this R is for the robotics class, but we'll be shifting that to web design um, because robotics has to do with hardware and software. So we'll be doing the ML class and we'll be doing the web design class, the web development class. So I'll be bringing in the facilitator who is going to facilitate this class for today. Please do not forget to drop in all of your comments in the comment section. We'll be answering everything. I'll be online with you guys 2 4. Okay. So I'm bringing in Mr. Abdul Martin. Mr. Abdul Martin, can you hear us? Yeah, you're muted. If you can hear me, you're muted.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, you're live and hit it.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Abdulmatin, and I'll be the one taking this class for web development. So before we get started, I hope you guys have heard about web development before. So if you haven't, if this is your first time of hearing about web development, web development is a way of building websites. Okay, the way of using different codes to build websites. That's web development. Okay, so the act of using different programming languages to build a website is called web development. Okay, so let's go into the program. So let's start the program right now. Just give me a minute. Okay. Um, so for web development, we have different languages we can use to for our web development. But for this class, we're going to be using HTML and CSS for our web design or web development. Okay. I think we have all gone through different websites. We've seen different types of websites. We've seen the Netflix website, we've seen the Google websites, and all the different websites out there. So we have different ways of creating those websites. Okay, so we have different types, different ways of creating those websites. And one of the ways using the code, HTML and CSS. Okay, so HTML is the full meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language, while the full meaning of CSS is cascading style sheet. Okay, so HTML is a markup. Can you hear me? Okay. I hope you can all hear me. So, I said HTML is hypertext markup language. It is a language for our markup. So the text you're seeing on your web page, the images, the button, the links you're seeing on your web pages are all written using HTML. While the design you're seeing, the background, the different sizes of letters, the colorful images, the colorful backgrounds you're seeing are all designed using the CSS, which is the cascading style sheet. So we have different applications which we use to write our web pages. We have different applications for our websites to code our websites, to write the HTML and CSS. We have Sublime Text. We have Visual Studio or VS Code, Visual Studio Code. We have PyCharm, we have Atom, we have Notepad++. But what we are going to be using is Sublime Text, which is one of the most popular text editors. So these are called text editors or IDEs. IDEs are integrated development environments. Okay, so IDEs are integrated development environments. These are apps that makes writing our code easy. It makes it easy for us to write our codes. And though we are going to be using the text editor, so text editor also makes writing our code easy. But one of the text editor we're going to be using is Sublime Text. Though we can use Notepad. Everyone has a Notepad on the system. We can use Notepad to write our HTML and CSS, but it's not advisable to do that. You can't. It's not advisable to use Notepad to write your codes because Notepad is not specialized for that. It's just for your text. And we to save for instance, if you're writing our HTML, if you're writing our HTML file to make our browser understand that okay, this is an HTML file, or to make any application we're using to open our HTML file understand that it is an HTML file, what we're going to do is save it as something.html. If you realize, you notice that if you write a text or a text file, if you see a text file, it's always saved in .txt. For instance, maybe I want to name I wrote a letter and I want to save the letter as letter. So you're going to see that it's going to save as letter.txt or letter.doc, which is short form of documents. If you send PDFs, you're going to notice that those PDFs are saved in .pdf also. For instance, images are saved in .jpeg. Videos, if you don't notice that, you can just go and check one of your video files or your text file or your PDF file. You see that it has an extension. Those things are called extensions. So as HTML2 has its own extension, CSS also has its own extension. So the extension for HTML to save HTML file are h.html or .htm, while for CSS is .css. We're going to be getting into more of this later on. But before we move on, let me just show you the application we're going to be using for our own website, for to create to code our website. So I'll share my screen and okay. So I hope everyone here can see my screen, and we're going to move into opening our Sublime text. Or before that, let me just open the Sublime text. Before that, let me show you how to go about downloading Sublime text if you don't have it on your system already. So what you just do is go to you. This is the Sublime text. This is how the Sublime text is going to look like. So before I show you what we're going to use the Sublime text for, how we're going to use it, let me show you how to download the Sublime text. So you just go in your browser and you search for Sublime text, or you go to sublimetext.com. Or I prefer just searching for Sublime text. Search for Sublime text. Once you do that, you click on the first link that comes up. Then you see the Sublime text website. Okay, you see the Sublime text website. So this is the Sublime Text website. If you're using Windows, you can download for Windows. If you're using a MacBook, you can download for Mac. If you're using a Linux, you can download for Linux. Okay. So I am using a Windows system right now. So though I have downloaded Sublime Text on my system, so I don't really need to download it again. But once you download, you can install it. Just open it and follow through the instructions in there, and you will be able to install Sublime Text on your system. After that, you can just come to your search bar and search for Sublime Text. Then you can open Sublime Text. Okay. Remember, I also told you, since everyone has a notepad on the system, you can also use notepad. Though I will show you the difference between using Sublime Text and using notepad. Okay. For MacBook, it's text edit. So if you're on MacBook, it's text edit instead of notepad, because MacBook doesn't have a notepad. It has text edit, which is the alternative for notepad. Okay, so after you've done that, once you're done with that, you can just open your Sublime text. Remember, I said just go to your search bar and search for it. Then you can open your Sublime text. We also have other applications out there. If you search for applications, you can use to. I'm just trying to show you here that we can use our Sublime text for normal text. So to write normal text, though it isn't used for that. You're not supposed to use it for that, but it can be used. It can be used to write your normal text. Though we're not going to be using this. We're not going to be using the Sublime text to write normal text. We're going to be using it to write codes. We're going to be using it to write HTML and CSS code. Okay, so what is HTML? HTML is hypertext markup language. It is a markup language for your markups, for your text, your headings, your paragraphs, your lists. We have ordered lists, we have unordered lists. You're going to understand that better. We have links and other different codes in HTML. Um, so your HTML is written inside tags, okay? So these tags are written using the angle bracket, which you're going to see very, very soon. They're written using the angle bracket, okay? So we have different kind of tags. We have the heading tags. The heading tags are from H1 to H6. We have the paragraph tags. We have the list tag, we have the unordered list, we have the ordered list, we have the anchor tag, we have the image tag. So some of these tags have the opening tag and the closing tag, which you're going to see, and some of these tags are self-closing. Okay, so before we get into that, how do we first we need to save our file. So I am going to click on file here and then click on save as. I'll click on save as, and then I want to save my HTML file. Remember that you are supposed to you're supposed to your HTML file is supposed to end in .html, just like the text file end in .txt, your image file end in .jpg, your text your HTML file is supposed to end in .html. And right now, I am going to name my I'm going to name it anything. Okay, so I'm going to name my HTML file anything I want to do. The default name given to an HTML file for, like, for instance, if you go to a website, the first page you're going to see is called the home page. Okay, so the home page is always saved using index. Okay, so index.html, that's what I am supposed to save my file as, though I can save it as any other thing. For instance, if I want to create an about page, I can save it as about.html. If I want to create a contact page, I can save it as contact.html. I am going to be saving this as index.html, and since I already have one in, let me just save it in another place. I think I already have one in desktop, so I'm going to save it in documents. Oh, okay, I already have one there too. Let me just save it. Okay, so now I have saved this, and you can see on here that we have something called the index.html, which is the name of our file right now. Okay, so the name of our file right now is index.html. Um, Moving on. So the first tag I am going to introduce you to is the HTML tag, which is like the mother of all the mother of all the tags. So every other tags will be inside the HTML tag. Let me just start writing it. I'm going to write the angle bracket, and you can see as soon as I write the angle bracket, it brings up some suggestion, and this suggestion are things I can pick from. Okay, I can pick different things from here. The tags I need, I can pick them from here. You can see the different tags we have. We have the address tag, we have the site tag, we have the body tag. But if I was using the notepad, though if I'm using other text editors and IDEs, which I call the integrated development environment, it is also going to bring this suggestion. Okay, so the reason why it is good, it is better to use this text editors and IDEs is because of the suggestion and the autocomplete. Okay, so it has an autocomplete feature, and it has suggestion feature. But for the notepad, the ordinary notepad, it is just made for text. It's not made for this kind of thing. So that's why you can't really use them. You can't really use them for writing HTML, writing codes, because of it doesn't have any autocomplete feature. It doesn't have. Though, if you want to learn, if you don't want anything to, maybe if you don't want any of the complete feature, you don't want any suggestion, you don't want to use those features that are inside those IDs and text editors, you can go for the notepad. But it's a lot stressful using that notepad. That's just the basic difference between using notepad and using a text editor. So I have written the first angle brackets. Okay, so I am going to write HTML and I can close it. So if I should write HTML and I click on this, it's going to bring out a boilerplate. Okay, this is the default. This is the default thing you to write in when starting an HTML page. When starting an HTML page. So I'm going to explain what all this is in a moment. But for you to just know that it's only when I write HTML, it is going to bring out this boilerplate. You can see if I should try to write other tags like H1, and I click on H1, it's just going to bring out the H1 tag. But since I'm writing HTML, since I wrote HTML the first time, it is going to bring out that boilerplate. So this is called a boilerplate. What you're seeing here, the first thing you're seeing here is the doc type HTML. This is telling the browser that this document you're seeing, it is an HTML document. So it's telling the browser that this is an HTML document. That it's not any other type of document, but an HTML document. While the HTML you're seeing here is the first, as I said before, like all other tags will be inside this tag. So if you're starting your web page, if start coding your web page, the first thing you would want to write is the HTML. The first thing you would want to write is HTML. Okay, so Jane, good. I see you've downloaded the Sublime text. You can just follow through. Um, the edge tag is things you want to put into the edge tags are the title, the meta tags, the links. So if I have a CSS file, for instance, and I want to link to that CSS file, things I am going to be putting in the edge tag is mostly what you're not going to be seeing on your web page, except for the title. So the only thing you're going to be seeing in the edge tag that will be shown on your browser is the title. For the remaining part, the screen is blurry. Sorry about that. I think it's going to be better. You can try increasing your YouTube resolution. I think that will make it better. Okay, so for the ed tag, things that you're not going to be seeing on your browser is what is going to be on your ed tag. For instance, um, this meta tag, you're not going to be seeing them in your browser. The only thing you're going to be seeing here is the title. So if I should, let's write something in the title, and we're going to write, let's write Codorina, the title. And once I've done that, I am going to try opening this using my browser. So you can, once you've saved as HTML, as long as that file is saved as .html, you will be able to open it with your browser. I will recommend you use Google Chrome, though you can use other browser out there. You can use Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer, but I will tell you to use Google Chrome. So I'm trying to get, let me try to get where I saved it and open. this from there. So it's in documents. Okay, so this is our file, and you can see already it has the Google Chrome icon. The reason it has this is because I have been yours might if you have Internet Explorer, yours might have the Internet Explorer icon. You can open it with Internet Explorer, but if you don't want to do that, just write. If you don't want to open it with Internet Explorer and you want to open it with the Google Chrome, you can just right click on it. You can just right click on it. Let me search. Okay, this is it here. Right click on it and open with Google Chrome. So you click on open with and you click on Google Chrome. So I'm going to click on Google Chrome and it has opened my file with the Google Chrome. Okay. You can see the file. There's nothing in there right now. Okay, so this is where our title is supposed to be. This place you're seeing the index.html. Just because I have not, after writing that title, I have not saved it. That's why you're not seeing the Codorina in here. But let's go back and save it. I'm going to go back to this and save it. So I'm going to click on Control S, which is the short cut for save. If you don't want to use the shortcut, you can just go to File and save it the traditional way. So you can just click on Save through here. So once I've done that, and I reload this page, you can see right now we have Codorina written here. Okay, the reason we have Codorina written here is because we wrote it in our title. So the title tag is used for writing the title of the web page. So as you can see here, you're seeing Sublime text here. That's because what was written here when they were writing code, when they were designing the website, was written in the title tag. So anything you write on the title tag will be seen here in the browser. So this is the edge. I've explained that, the edge tag, and now we're moving to body. So all the tag I've been explaining since are they have the opening and the closing tag. So the HTML has the opening tag and the closing tag, and as you can see, the closing tag also has this forward slash before writing the closing tag. So the HTML has the opening tag has none of that, while the closing tag has that. As you can see, the body too, the opening tag, the closing tag, the head, the opening tag, the closing tag. While this meta tag right here, it does not have an opening tag and a closing tag. That's because it is a self-closing tag, which I told you earlier that we have that some tags have the opening and closing tag, while some tags just have they're just self-closing, so they close themselves. This title too, you can see it as the opening and the closing. For the body, uh, um, for the body, anything you want to see, the context of the web page, starting from the heading, the text you're seeing, the images you're going to get, everything is written inside the body. So anything you're seeing in here, let me show it to you. Inside this white box here, inside this white place for the browser, is written in the body. So let's open this place. So everything you're seeing here, this navigation bar, this is called the navigation bar to navigate through your website. Everything you're seeing here is written inside the body tag. Okay, it's written inside the body tag. So remember I said that the first thing you're seeing, the first page you're seeing when you open when you go to a website is called the home page. So this is called the home page for our Sublime text. If I go to another page, that will be the maybe if I click on downloads, that will be the download page. If I click on support and it takes me to another page, that will be the support page. But always remember when you're creating a website, the first page, the home page, is always saved using index.html. I hope we are all getting this. We are all understanding this. Please, if you have any question, put it in the chat box and I will try to answer them. Moving on, we're going to start with heading. Okay. So, though I can just write any text in here, I can just say, my name, sorry, my name is Abdul. And once I save, remember save is Control S. Once I save and I go to and reload, I have to reload once I save. As you can see, what I wrote there is written in here. My name is Abdul, but that is not the conventional way of writing it. Okay, it's not the conventional way. So if I want to write a paragraph, I have to put it in a paragraph tag. And the way to do that is to write angle bracket P and close it. I have to close it. And remember, the opening tag doesn't have anything, just as the angle bracket, the opening angle bracket and closing angle bracket, while the closing tag has the opening angle bracket, the forward slash, and the P, and then the closing angle bracket. Then anything I want to write would be written in between. So if I want to write my name is Abdul, and I save this and I go to my browser and I reload, you can see it still looks the same. The only difference is that the spacing in here, because it is a paragraph. You're going to see the difference between writing just ordinary text and putting it in paragraph. So let's say I want to write ordinary text and I put my name is Abdul here, and on the next line I put I am a tutor. You can see this. This is just ordinary text. Normally, you're going to expect that this would be on one line and this would be on one line. Let me now write this using the paragraph tag. I click on the P and it's just completes it for me. I am a tutor, and after doing that, let me save it and open my browser and then reload. You can see my name is Abdul. So my name is Abdul. I am a tutor, which is supposed to be on different line, as you can see here. It is on the same line because it's not inside any tag. It's not inside a paragraph tag. So we were expecting this to be on different lines, but it's not. Right now, it's not interpreting it as a paragraph. It's not interpreting it as different paragraphs. Just interpreting this as normal text. So that's why you're seeing both of them on the same line. While the one we put in different paragraph, I am, while the ones we put in different paragraphs, you can see they are written on different lines. So that's saying that they are on different paragraphs. So this is one tag you need to learn, which is the paragraph tag. So to write the paragraph tag, you just need to write P, the opening tag, and the closing tag. Okay. So let's move on. Let me remove this. And the next tag we want to learn now is the a heading tag. So if I go to this Sublime Text website, this year the text editing done right is like an heading tag. So it's the heading of this page. So it's written in an heading tag. Though for the heading tag we have from H1 to down to H6, which you're going to be seeing the difference between all of them. You're going to be seeing the difference between all of them. So if I should write H1, let's write H1, sorry, H1, and the reason it completes it is because I clicked on the H1 that was there, and let me write hello world. Okay, so this is an heading. Okay, it's written inside the H1. The H1 is the biggest heading you can get. Okay, while the H6 is the smallest heading you can get. After writing that, let me save this and go back. And once I reload, you're going to see, you can see how big it is compared to the one we wrote in our paragraph tag. The reason this is as big as this is because it is an heading tag. We're writing it in an heading. How it's not big at all is because it's just taking it as a paragraph, as normal text, but putting it in a paragraph. While this one is taking it as an heading. So let's continue. The second one is H2. H2, let me write hello world there too. I'm going to write it up to H6. Sorry. H3, write hello world there too. And we have H4. We have H4. We have H5. Then we have the last one, which is H6. So there's no H7, H8, or things like that. It's just from H1 to H6. That is the convention. So we have H6. This is just to show you the difference between all of them. So this is just to show you the difference between all of them. Once I've done that, now I have saved it, and if I reload, make sure that after saving it in your Sublime text, you reload in your browser. Then you can see what happens. This is the H1, the H2, the H3, H4, H5, H6. You can see the H6 is the smallest one, while the H1 is the biggest one. So you can see H1 is the biggest, followed by the H2, followed by the H3, then the H4, then the H5, then the H6. For instance, I can use this at the beginning of my web page. Okay, let's say I want to write the topic of the web page, or the heading of the web page. Then I can use this to do that. Then if I have a subheading, then I can use other ones. Okay, so let's say inside this I'm writing something, I want to write a subheading, I can use the H2. Then after that, I want to write another subheading, I can decide to use the H5. Or I just want my text to be bold, I can then use H6, H5 for anyone I want. Okay, so that's it about the heading tags. Okay, So that's it about the heading tags. Um, so I'm just going to create a simple web page, just a simple one, with a dummy text. So I'm going to write H1, then inside the H1, I want to give this an heading. So I'm going to write dummy text. Okay. So inside the H1, I'm going to write dummy text. Then after that, I am going to write a paragraph. Okay. So paragraph. The way I did this is there is something you can do in your Sublime text, okay, to get a dummy text. To get, maybe you don't have text for you're creating a website, you don't know what to write there immediately. You just want to put in a dummy text. This dummy text is called Lorem Ipsum. Okay, so if you can search for it online, you can search for it online. So Lorem Ipsum text. So this is it. So you can just get it from here. You can just open this and get the lorem ipsum text from here. So this is just telling you that lorem ipsum is a simple dummy text. Okay. So if I want to get a dummy text, I can just get it from here. So this is just an explanation of what the lorem ipsum is. But I don't need to search for it. It's already given to me in it's already given to me here in Sublime Text. It's provided in Sublime Text already. So what I just need to do is to write lorem and click on tab, and it provides me with all this text. And you can see it is inside the paragraph tab. Okay. So once I save that and I go back to our website and I reload, you can see this. So you can see this. We have this is the thing we put into our paragraph, while this is the heading tab. Okay, so the H1 tab. Then we have the dummy text. Yeah, just a minute, please. So we can always use that dummy text instead of just looking for what to write. Then if we don't have a content immediately, we can just get the dummy text. So if we don't have the context we want to write immediately, we can just go for a dummy text. So let me share my screen and let's continue. Okay, so after doing this, let's say I want to add an image to the web page. So if I want to add an image down to the web page, I can just do image. There's an image tag. Though the image tag is a self-closing tag. And as you can see, we have the image tag. Though we don't have the opening tag and closing tag for the image, it's a self-closing tag, just like the meta tag here, which has an SRC. So inside the image tag, this SRC is stands for source. Okay, so it is it is like you're trying to get where the image is saved in. So if I have an image, let me search for an image. Let me get an image. Um, so I'm trying to get, okay, so I've gotten one, and I'm going to put it into my document. The reason I am putting it into my document right now is because I want my image and my index.html, the file, this two file, to be in the same directory, so in the same place, so that I don't have to be linking, I don't have to start searching for it, okay? Start going into different directory to get this image. So I want it to just be into inside document. Both of them should be inside the document, so it's easy for me to get. As you can see, this image is of the type PNG item type. If you can see that the item type is PNG, so that means this image is saved in .png. Remember that. Anytime you want to check an image, just override it, and it's going to show you what type of images. It can be a .png, it can be .jpeg, it can be .jpg. So we have different extensions for images. Okay. So now that they are in the same directory, I just have to get the picture. I'm going to do PIC. Remember, that's the name of the picture. The name of the picture is PIC. And I have to put the extension too, which is .png. .png. And I will save that. And once I go into my browser, let's get into the browser. Once I go into my browser and I reload, you're going to see the image. You can see how big it is. You can see the image, and I am going to try to reduce the size of this image. There's something we call attributes, okay? So let me go back into my Sublime text. So there's something we call attributes. This source right here is an attribute of the image. We have another attribute which is the ALT. The ALT is an alternative, okay? So it's an alternative. For instance, if I can't get, let's say I'm getting the picture from an online, from another web page or another website online, and it couldn't, maybe because of network, it couldn't get that picture immediately. It's going to use this instead, okay? So it's going to use this alternative name instead. So let's just put picture. Let's just name a picture. Just to text it, I am going to remove the I from this from the pic, so it can't find the picture anymore. So I'm going to text. I'm going to check if it's seeing this. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it and then go back to my web page and reload. And as you can see, it can't find the picture anymore. So now it is writing picture instead of showing us the picture. So it's writing picture in here. That's because it can't find this pc.png, and it's not in our document. There's no image named pc.png in our document, so it can't find it. And since it can't find it, it's going to use our alternative, which is the picture in here. Let's get it back. So I'm going to reload back, and you can see, as you can see, it is back. So what I want to do now to reduce the size of this image is to give it a width. I'm going to give it a width, and let's say the width I'm going to give it is 50 pixels. And as you can see how small it is right now. It is very, very tiny. So pixels are the way we measure, we size our images in HTML and CSS. Okay, so we have different ways to give our image size. We can use the percentage. We can use the pixels. So right now I am using pixels, and I've given the width of 50 pixels. Okay. So I'm going to increase it. Let's say I want to give it a 250. Let's say about 250 pixels. And once I save that, I can go back and reload, and you can see it gets bigger. Okay, I hope we can all see this. So right now it's became bigger. So we can just do this. We can give it both width and height. So if I don't want to give it only width, I can give it an height too. And let's say I want to give it an height of 400 pixels. Save it. I go back and reload, and you can see the height increases while the width remains the same. Okay, that's because we gave it a width of 250, and we gave it an height of 400 pixels. Okay, so remember the pixels here, this px here is just form of pixels, and those are ways we measure in our CSS or HTML. Okay, those are ways we're going to um, give our images sizes. We can also use percentage to give the image different size. Okay, so now we've come to the end of the first class. And if you have any questions so far, please can you drop it in the chat box so I can answer them. For your assignments, you can just try creating this, replicating what I have just done here. So use the HTML to create text. You can give it a different text. You can just copy something online and write it here, give it an heading, add an image to it. Okay. So if you have any questions so far, please can you drop it in the chat box so I can answer them. I'm waiting for your questions. Questions are a way to show that you've learned something. So the things you don't really get, can you just drop them in the chat box so we can explain further. Okay, so in case of no question, can someone tell me what he or she has learned since the beginning of this class? Just pick something you've learned, you really understand, and just tell me what you've learned since we start this class. I'm waiting for someone to just tell me what he or she has learned. I can see Betty here. Just something you've learned since the beginning of the class. We've done HTML. Okay. Can someone just tell me the full meaning of HTML? I mentioned the full meaning of HTML. Can someone tell me the full meaning? Okay. So since no one can tell me, I will just tell you the full meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language. Okay, so Betty, you said you learned how to use Sublime text. Yeah, fine. Dimka, hypertext markup language. Yes, yes, it is hypertext markup language. Yeah, thank you very much. You learned how to edit text. Okay. Yeah, so do not forget your assignment. Remember, your assignment is to just replicate what we've done today. Create, use the H1, the heading tags, the H1 to H6 to write an heading. Use the paragraph tag to write something to just get, maybe you can get content online, and also you can give it an image, download an image online. Okay, so what I can also do is, maybe I get an image online, I can copy the link and put it in here in the source right here. Let me share my screen again. Sorry. So what I can just do is, if I get an image online, let's say I search for an image online. Let's say I search for an image online, and you want to copy the link. So instead of just downloading that image, you want to copy the link, and I can just copy the link, open my Sublime text, and put it in the source. Okay, so in the image source. Okay, someone said I learned that HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's used to write text of any website. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so we've come to the end of the class. You can go to the next one. So you can go to your next class. That will be all for now. Bye bye, and thank you very much. See you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Martin. Um, Hi guys. So I think we can move to the next class, which is innovation um, thinking. Thank you.